He thought it was just a quiet afternoon casting a line into the shimmering lake behind his home. But within hours, that peaceful moment would spark a storm that tore his neighborhood apart. A $500 fine from the HOA president issued simply for fishing was only the beginning. What followed was a battle over power, pride, and justice, one that would leave the entire community stunned. How far would one man go to stand up against prejudice? And when he finally struck back, would it be justice or revenge?
Before the fine, before the arguments, before the stares, Marcus Reed lived for quiet moments by the water. He had moved to this lakeside neighborhood in Florida just 3 months earlier, hoping to give his young family a safe, peaceful life. The lake behind his home wasn't just pretty scenery, it was his escape. After long days at work, he'd sit on the dock, feeling the breeze and casting his line, just like his grandfather had taught him. Neighbors seemed polite at first, waving as they drove by, offering small talk at the mailbox. But beneath the surface, Marcus sensed something else. Some glances lingered too long. Some smiles felt tight, almost forced. Still, he brushed it off, determined not to assume the worst. Then, one quiet Saturday, while his kids laughed and played near the water, an unexpected figure appeared, clipboard in hand, eyes locked on him. In that moment, the calm lake no longer felt like home. Something was coming, and it wasn't just a change in the weather.
The woman with the clipboard was Susan Hartley, the HOA president. Her voice was sharp, her words precise. She informed Marcus he was in violation of the neighborhood's lake access policy and handed him a citation on the spot. The fine? $500. Marcus was stunned. He'd read the HOA handbook cover to cover before moving in. There was no rule against fishing. He tried to explain, but Susan's expression didn't change. "Rules are rules," she said flatly before walking away. That night, Marcus double-checked the handbook. No mention of a fishing ban. He emailed the HOA, attaching pictures of the rules. No reply. Days passed and whispers began. Neighbors avoided eye contact. Others openly questioned why new people thought they could do whatever they wanted. Then came the letters, 3 in a week, each escalating the threat: pay the fine or face further penalties. The tone was colder each time, and the final notice hinted at legal action. Marcus attended the next HOA meeting, hoping for a civil conversation. Instead, he was met with smirks, interruptions, and sideways comments about preserving the neighborhood's image. He left that room not just frustrated, but humiliated. What hurt most wasn't the fine. It was the realization that this wasn't about fishing at all. This was about control, about keeping someone like him in his place. Late one night, sitting by the lake in the dark, Marcus felt the weight of every unjust moment. He could pay the fine, walk away, and try to keep the peace. Or he could fight back in a way no one would see coming. And when the idea hit him, it was bold, risky, maybe even reckless. But it would change the neighborhood forever.
The next HOA meeting began like all the others: stiff smiles, rustling papers, and the faint hum of the ceiling fan. Susan was halfway through her agenda when Marcus stood up. This time, he wasn't holding a complaint letter. He was holding a set of official documents. With calm, deliberate words, Marcus announced that he had purchased the lake. Not a section of it, not a piece of shoreline, the entire lake. The room froze. Pens dropped. Conversations halted mid-whisper.
He explained how he tracked down the original owners, an elderly couple looking to sell, and made them an offer they couldn't refuse. The paperwork was done, the deal finalized. From that moment on, the lake was private property, his property. And then came the blow. Effective immediately, all neighborhood access was revoked. Fishing, boating, even walking near the water, banned. Those who had once smirked at him now stared in disbelief, their faces pale with shock. Some gasped, others shouted. Susan's voice cracked as she called his move unreasonable and divisive. But Marcus didn't flinch. For months, they'd tried to strip him of his dignity with fines and rules that didn't exist. Now, they would learn what it felt like to be shut out. As he walked out of that meeting, papers still in hand, the air felt electric. Victory or the start of something bigger? Only time would tell.
In the weeks that followed, the lake became a symbol, not just of water and land, but of defiance. Marcus installed signs around the shoreline. Private property, no trespassing. Neighbors who once ignored him now slowed their cars as they passed, their eyes flicking toward the water they could no longer touch. Some called him petty, others called him a hero. For Marcus, it wasn't about revenge. It was about reclaiming the dignity that had been stripped from him. That $500 fine was never about fishing. It was about making him feel small. And by taking control of the lake, he had taken back something far greater than access. He had taken back his voice. The HOA eventually stopped sending letters. The whispers faded, replaced by an uneasy silence. But for Marcus, the real victory wasn't in winning a battle with the HOA. It was in proving, to himself and to anyone watching, that he wouldn't be pushed aside. Because in neighborhoods, workplaces, and schools across the country, countless others face the same quiet prejudice. Many never get the chance to fight back. Marcus did, and his stand sent ripples far beyond the water's edge. So the question remains, when faced with injustice, will you let it wash over you, or will you make waves?